So after much debate, I've decided to myself that turning the radio off on GTA 5 is an advisable idea. Which rather pisses me off because I'd prefer not to turn it off and I'd prefer to have it on. But because of the copyright, I see I've been getting a few copyright notices on and off when I've been doing the videos I've been doing for GTA 4, and it doesn't really help the situation at all. I mean, there's a lot of fun stuff you can do in GTA 5. I'm also going to be including my my girlfriend in some of my upcoming videos for Xbox 360, which is going to be completely cool. I'm also going to include a few of my other friends as well. And it's just, it's shitting me. Because of the copyright claims that I have been getting from YouTube, which has been frustrating. I mean, it's mostly been music. I have sort of tried to dispute them and pointed out that, you know, it is inherently part. I mean, to be honest, I feel honestly that the music is actually a part of, well, sorry, correct me, not the music. The actual radio is a part of the game. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's just me who feels that, but I guess that's not the case with the music. I don't know. Look, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've showed a couple of things, little bits and pieces, and I don't think I've ever had any of my videos taken down majorly, but the thing that shits me is that, I mean, all I'm trying to do is, well, at the end I'm trying to entertain people. I'm also trying to make a little bit of money out of it, doing my monetization to most of my videos. I mean, I do my tech videos, but I like doing for my funny videos where I just have a sense of humour and, you know, go around randomly shooting shit and just being an idiot. Well, not an idiot, but just being a smartass. Okay. So I'm just going to stick that there. Oh, and I died. That was hilarious. No, the point that I'm trying to make is that, well, what's pissing me off the most is that I've had a couple of copyright notices, and then for the life of me I can't figure it out. I mean, most of the videos that I've had copyright notices on, except for maybe one or two of them, actually have me doing commentary for the video. So I'm like, well, okay, what the fuck? That doesn't even make sense. I'm doing commentary for the video. I've got my friends doing commentary for the video. We're just trying to be funny and, you know, fucking stupid and weird and, you know, just generally, yeah, that type of stuff. I mean, fuck. Pisses me off. It does generally piss me off, and it does generally annoy me that, you know, somebody we get so pedantic about something in the sense of copyright notices. That's just dumbass shit to get fucking pedantic about. I don't know, look, I have nothing against copyright, but at the same time, I'm trying to entertain people. I mean, okay, just randomly running around doing stupid shit on the game. I also like some of the multiplayer factors, being able to run around the multiplayer and do different things in the multiplayer. I got a lot of different friends. We have a bit, you know, we have a bit of fun with the game here and there with, you know, with a few things that we do, and I don't know, I just it bothers me. I mean, at some point, I mean, the game's been out for a while now, so I guess probably most people have seen most everything on YouTube or other places. In most cases, they've seen percentage of the stuff that's out there. But it does get me. It does really get me that that for such a stupid small amount, I don't know, it just pisses me off. That's all. Okay, so, I mean, just have to turn the damn radio off again. Shit. I need to have that off by default. I can actually turn that off by default. Settings. Chrome settings. Okay. Display, saving, Facebook, controls, audio. So I'm going to say radio off. It's just annoying me, that's all. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of like, I mean, this isn't probably as advanced as the Xbox One version, and I'll be definitely doing PC commentary stuff. It just pisses me off that I have to be that adamant in turning the radio off all the fucking time, and it's not always easy to do, but... I mean, I don't think it's necessarily Rockstar's fault, because it was mostly looks like artists actually, or record companies making claims. Which, I mean, to be honest, at the end of it, it's promoting their music. It's not exactly... Okay, at the end of it, it's promoting their music and it's promoting the fucking game. I don't see what the problem is. I don't see what the issue could possibly be, except for they're just being petty about it. They're being pedantic and petty to the point where it's, okay, hold on a second, what? You can't let me have my little bit of revenue? Well, what the fuck's with that bullshit? I'm sorry, that's just stupid. That's my little rant on that anyway, but it's just frustrating to have to deal with that shit, It's only on my GTA 5 videos and maybe a couple of my other videos that I have had. I've had people actually make copyright claims on my videos for no reason, which is fucking stupid. I pointed out that maybe they should actually look and see what's going on with the video before they judge it. If you actually listen to the video and take the time to listen to the videos, or most of my videos anyway, they do have commentary in them. Either my commentary personally, or a combination of friends, me and friends chatting online in that combo. Which personally I feel, I feel it's a bit of a personal attack on me when people do put copyright notices. When okay, yeah, sure, there's a song in the background, but I mean at the same time, it's what is it, out of a dozen million songs in the world? And I mean only because I'm a relatively small channel at the moment, do people decide they're going to fucking attack my channel? It does shit me, and I mean I've put a couple of disputes in just to see how that goes. But no, look, I'm sorry. In my mind, somebody needs to review some of this stuff, because, I mean, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm playing the game as it was intended. And I think it's just people being petty about things. Petty and pedantic would be my best description. And I don't think it's fair to me, to be honest. Not fair to me at all. At the end of it, obviously those people have some issues. Well, I don't know whether they do specifically have some issues, but maybe it's just the fact that they want to put in copyright notices because they can, because they feel the need to, a couple of people, my nephew included, actually pointed out that there are copyright trolls out there, people who specifically go around marking videos as being copyrighted or having copyrighted stuff in them just because they can. And I'm sorry, but you are clearly a sad little person with no life if you're going to do that shit. And I think I've only had one or two of my videos which actually people will probably mark that, but yeah. It's pretty sad. I'm sorry. It's pretty fucking sad. You are a sad excuse of a human being, obviously, and yeah, you clearly don't give a shit about anybody else. Yeah, that's pretty fucking clear. But whatever. I really don't give a shit. I mean, it doesn't really overly bother me that much, but it does piss me off that each time that I put up a GTA 5, particularly GTA 5 videos, it seems that they're always targeted. I don't know whether it's... Well, yes, it could be the music, it could be the fact there's music in it, but in my mind, the music is an integral part of the game. Without the music, how exactly... I mean, you got the sounds and everything else that come into the game, but, I mean, the music is part of the game, and it lets the game flow smoothly, in my mind. I don't know, that's just generally, I mean, in the sense of advertising, for advertising purposes, in the sense of advertising the game, yeah. Yeah, definitely, most definitely is in that situation, so I just don't get it. I personally am a bit pissed off with it, and I don't understand. It's something else. There we go. I don't think... I don't know. Just maybe I feel it's a bit of a personal attack thing. I mean, I don't consider myself a bad person. I'm not perfect, but I'm not a bad person either. So I don't think I should be judged, or I should be placed in a category as a bad person just because, or, said that I've done something wrong because, supposedly it's copyright. Yeah, look, okay, it was music in it, but aside from that, I mean, You can't copyright every single fucking thing on the planet, I'm sorry. Same as you can't copyright seeds or natural things on the planet, you know? Which some companies are actually trying to fucking do, but it's just bullshit in my mind. Clearly that some of these companies have got their head in their ass and can't actually see that, you know, you can't exactly copyright a seed. I mean, genetic modifications aren't exactly, yeah, I don't know, just patent. Sorry, patent or copyright, either context. There's some things you can patent and there's some things you can't. You cannot patent. You cannot patent nature. I'm sorry. No matter how hard you try, you cannot patent nature. It's as simple as that. Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me, really? I don't know. You just, no, you cannot patent nature, you cannot fucking, you know, there's certain things you can patent and certain things you can copyright. I don't believe everything should be downright, you know, here for copyright and, you know, always on that placement. Just, no, that's just stupid. People should have the freedom to do the things they want to do. I mean, I'm not exactly saying people should have the freedom to go out and kill people, but, you know, people should be able to should be free in their own home to, you know, do the things they enjoy. You know? Something individual. I don't think we should live in a fascist state where everybody's fucking specifically supposed to do something all the time. It's really terrible. People have got to be able to... I mean, look, fun is part of a good psychological health, too. I believe fun is part of good psychological health. And fascism is just... No, it never works. Never conforming people to one pattern or doesn't always work. People have several patterns. There's always several different patterns of behaviour, whether it be psychological or otherwise, you know? I don't know. Just me ranting about stupid shit, but... It's not really stupid to me. I honestly don't think it's stupid, and, you know, maybe that's just me being a bit fanatical about it in some ways, I guess, but, you know, I think, you know, there's nothing wrong with freedom and being able to, you know, have a certain degree of it. I mean, I don't expect the police, and I don't expect the government not to stop people who are committing acts of terrorism or otherwise, or anything of that nature. I just think it's good to have some personal freedoms to a certain degree. You know, you can't have a society that's locked down so much that they can't see, you know, what's going on. It's just a terrible society to live in, you know? At the end of it, you gotta, you know, you have to have a certain degree of, you know, freeness in the sense of society. You know, I mean, I don't expect to say that people are going to go out and kill people, but, you know, just a sense of... Yeah, just a freer society. Not as restrictive, you know? I think that just makes sense to me, to be honest. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Everybody's entitled to a freedom of expression, and everybody's entitled to an opinion. At the same time, some people do have their opinions are a little more jaded and a little more... detestable than others. I mean, some opinions you just go, wow, what are you thinking with that one? And then some just so closed-minded that they can't have the open ability to actually look at things with an open, set mind, so they're able to see the good and the bad things in life, you know? I mean, people have positive and negative experiences, right? I'm not arguing that. And just because somebody has a negative experience with a certain type of thing, whether it be drugs or alcohol or whatever the fuck they have a negative experience with, the thing about it is that just because that person does not mean that everybody else is going to have the same experience. It doesn't mean that you can force your opinion down other people's throat and expect them to take it like a bitch. Because they're not going to sit there and take it like that, you know? I don't think anybody can really, honestly, you know, can really honestly say that they want an opinion forced down their throat, whether it be of the Catholic religion, whether it be of a Christian religion, whether it be of other things. Look, I don't care whether you're Satanist, pagan, whether you're a fucking spaghetti monster, what the hell ever you are. I don't care who you are or what walk of life you come from. In my personal opinion, everybody has a freedom. You know what I mean? You have the freedom to express your religion. You don't have the freedom to force it down other people's throats and make it the mandatory thing to do. That in itself comes back to the Nazis in Germany, pretty much. That pretty much comes back to the Nazis in Germany. And I've been playing a bit of Wolfenstein New Order, which, yeah, look, that's fascism. You know? You got the other argument, the point of reference, feminazis, which, look, I know that probably sounds totally fucked, but it's true. There are some women, and my girlfriend is definitely not one of them. She's a wonderful, wonderful woman. She's the best woman in the world. There are some women that are so adamant about the fact that it's always men's fault, and men are always to blame, and men always make the bad decisions, and men are always ultimately the aggressors. This is not the case. Women can be the aggressors just as much as men can be the aggressors. And at the end of it, it comes down to the person. It comes down to the individual attitude of that person, the intelligence level, and the judgment of that person. So at the end, I'm sorry, you can have a guy just as bad as a girl, and you can have a girl just as bad as a guy. It's either reverse in context. I always believe, and this is what I believe with my sweetheart, particularly my wonderful woman, Erin, I believe with her, the honest truth is that, it's an equal partnership thing. You should be able to have an equal partnership where you both contribute something to the relationship, whether it be emotional stability, whether it be emotional support, combinations of that. I think it should be equal on both sides. I don't think there should be just a one-sided view. It's always the man that supports the woman, or it's always whatever way you really want to take it. It's not always. That's my point. It shouldn't always be that way. There should be a combination of combining the two. You know what I mean? And they should amalgamate with each other and form one whole to make a better, make everything better in the long run. That just makes sense to me, and it's just something that is perfectly logical, perfectly intelligent, and it's. Yes, I know it's an ideal world, and you're going to say that we don't live in an ideal world, but you know what? We could live in an ideal world if people applied a little more, attention to things, paid a little more attention to detail, paid a little more attention to what was going on. If some men were to make more intelligent decisions in some cases, sometimes as men there's just as much to blame about some of the decisions they make, especially when they're angry or emotional, and some women are the same when they make an emotional decision. A decision based just on emotional, just based on emotional response, like purely on that. It's not based on, and then you got people who completely lie and manipulate the situation towards their end and their gain most of the time. And I know there's people like that. I'm not denying that. But as long as you know there's people out there, all you have to do is keep a watch out for the people like that, and be well aware that sometimes people are always not always looking out for you. Sometimes they're actually looking out for other people, or they're looking out for themselves purely. Then you get the people who look out for everybody else or try to make people happy, and most of the time they end up getting screwed. I'm sort of a catch-22 man. You really, I will look after most people in most cases, but if you really try and screw me, fuck you, I ain't letting you screw me. I will carve your head off with an axe and hand it to you. Because adamantly, I'm not a pushover, you know what I mean? I'm not a weak person by nature. I'm able to turn around and say, well, I'm not going to fucking take that, and I'm not going to fucking put up with that shit. And at the end of it, I feel better for that. Includes my family. I have main things that I focus on. I focus on looking after my family, some of my close friends, but mostly my family, my closest wonderful woman, my significant other, my partner, I look after her, I look after my family, and I look after probably the people closest to me in a given situation, right? At the end of it, I also look after myself too. I'm not an idiot. I have to look after myself if I need to maintain myself to be able to help the people that I'm helping, or the people that I look after regardless. I need to keep myself reasonably on the go, you know, and up to date on things. At the end of it, I think sadly some people seem to forget, or sometimes do forget in a given situation, that, you know, when you love people, you will do anything for them. You will kill for them. You will, you know, there's a lot of things you'll do at the end. There's a lot of things you'll do for your family, and your friends, and your close significant other that you wouldn't do for anybody else, a complete stranger on the street. You know what I mean? And that's my mind was what family and friends are. That's the type of action and the type of things that you need to do for these people. You know? At the same time, you have to look after yourself to a certain degree, you know, and always make sure that you pay attention to what's going on. You know? Maybe that sounds like a little bit of a selfish attitude, maybe. But you know what? I've learned that most people these days are looking after themselves, so I don't think there's anything wrong with me looking after myself from time to time and focusing on what my needs are and what my family's needs are. Those are the things I focus on. Those are the primary things that I focus on. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing that, because that's actually good. It's a good thing. And you know, at the end of it, makes you a better person for doing it. At the end, I think we do forget, you know, I don't know whether we forget family or whether we forget friends or whatever. But then there's some people who don't have good family. They never had a good family to start with. Look, I'm sorry that people didn't have a good family, and I'm sorry that people don't always get born into the right family, and, you know... No, I'm actually sorry, because, I mean, it happens. Shit happens, and ultimately that's life. You can't do anything about that. I'm more interested in the fact that just because life did give you a crap sandwich or gave you a shitty experience, doesn't mean that you have to give everybody else a shitty experience, and it doesn't mean that you have to treat other people like crap simply because your life's not heading in the direction you expect. Or, you know, simply because your life isn't as together as you want it to be, or would like to be at that time. Or perhaps you've made a few wrong choices in your life. That's fine. That's okay. But just because somebody makes a decision and a choice that affects them better in the long run and doesn't affect you that well, does not mean that you have the right to turn around and basically berate them because they didn't help you, or make them feel guilty because they didn't help you. I'm sorry, at the end of it, those people got themselves into that situation, and they got themselves there by making the bad decisions they made, by doing the stupid things they did, and ultimately it's them who made that crap choice in the first place. You know what I mean? And, you know, at the end of it, you can only help so many people in a given situation. There's only so much help you can give a person before they need to learn to run themselves or ride a bike. Well, you know, what's the analogy? You know, you give a person so much help before they, you know, you basically need to learn to walk before you can run, you know, or crawl before you can walk. Same analogy, sort of the same lines anyway. But that's my point. You need to learn that stuff, and I mean, at the end of it, you know, I mean, okay, people claim, it's like, oh, you got to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth, or, you know, some people claim with different people, right? Look, no, not everybody gets born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Some people work their way up in life. I started out, you know, fairly poor when I was young, you know, or fairly poor when I was growing up, you know. Mum and Dad never had a lot of money, you know. I mean, I'm not overly rich now, but, you know, I've got a little bit of money behind me, but, like, you know, I started out, you know, you start out as not having a lot of money at first, you know, and you start out as not having much of a reputation, or, you know, generally not having much to go on and much that you've learned, you know, but over time and over the essence of life, you learn things, you learn what not to do and what to do, and when to be an arse and when not to be an arse. At the end of it, sometimes looking after yourself is okay, you know, and sometimes looking after your immediate family is nothing wrong with that either. And I think sometimes that some people forget that. There's also people that always believe that they are right. No matter how wrong they are in a given decision, no matter how many times you tell them or explain to them that something else, that they could do something a better way, or that it could be done, or it could be better for them, they won't take your advice. They won't listen to you because it's either the fact that they think you're a punk, some young punk or something, but I don't know, look. I come from personal life experience of doing the different things that I did. And the different things that I've come across. I mean, I didn't go running around taking drugs. I didn't go running around drinking my head off. I mean, I drink a fair bit now, but, you know, like, I didn't run around doing things, but I did, you know, I did a fair amount of things in my life, and I have had a fair amount of life experience. It's not as if I stood still and did nothing, but at the same time, I don't take inherently bad risks, because I don't feel the need to. I'm not that type of person who takes a bad risk, unless it is detrimentally important that I do. If there's a point that, you know, if I'm forced into a situation where I have to defend myself and I have to defend my point of view, and I also have to defend myself to the point where I have to kill someone, I would not have a problem with doing that, you know? And I think any human being, regardless of what walk of life they come from, would have the same point of view, you know what I mean? If you want to defend, whether it be defending your family or defending yourself, if you have to get to that point, I don't think there's anything wrong with getting to that point. It's just how it is. It's how it happens. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with defending yourself. Don't feel like, you know, you can't defend yourself and you can't, you know, fucking... Yeah, just don't feel like you can't defend yourself. I mean, I've been bullied my entire life, and I know what bullying's like, alright? I don't like to see anybody bullied. I don't like to see anybody put into the ground, you know. And at the same time, you know, I don't like to see people have too much of a hard situation, but at the same time, some people are simply trying to get sympathy out of the situation, trying to get sympathy from you, or they're trying to get some type of reaction. Mostly sympathy, mostly the fact that they're trying to get attention. They're either trying to get good attention or bad attention. And most people will not know the difference. Well, sorry, they may know the difference, but they don't care whether they get good or bad attention from someone. All they care about is the attention they get. They're attention seeking, they want attention all the time, and if they don't get it, they don't feel like they're doing something right, or they don't, I don't know what the point of view is. I mean, I guess they feel like they're worthless human beings when they don't get attention. I don't need attention 24/7. I don't need attention from everybody all the time. I can be downright antisocial some days, and then I can be downright sociable other days. You know, and it comes down to me and how I'm feeling, and if I'm feeling in a bad mood, I don't want to fucking talk to you. I may be just in a shitty mood, so just, you know, fuck off, leave me alone for a while. I'll be fine, come back later. Or, you know, I'm in a good mood and I may just feel like talking on a constant basis. Or, you know, it's basically a combination, this is my point. But most of the time I'm pretty sociable. But, I mean, I don't go out and socialise with people all the time. I don't go to clubs. I tend to... Well, I have gone out to clubs in the past, but I don't know, most clubs are just idiots trying to start fights and do stupid shit and be dumbasses, you know. And I didn't want any part of that. I mean, I'm quite a nice guy, and... Not just a nice guy, no, I consider myself a gentleman, so, you know, I mean, I can be a bit of a smart ass, I can be a bit of a dick, and maybe I can be a bit annoying with some things that I do, but even if I am annoying, it's just, you know, it's just my way, it's who I am. I mean, at the end of it, I just go, fuck it, if people don't like the way I am, that's their fucking choice, they can go fuck off. I'm just, you know, you get sick of accommodating to everybody else's needs most of the time. You accommodate to the people that are important to you. You accommodate, whether it be the woman in your life or whether it be your family, the family in your life. You accommodate maybe to them. I can understand accommodating to them. I can understand, you know, doing things for them, helping them, things like that. You know, maybe close friends and stuff. But when it comes to people that, you know, when it comes to people in other sets of life, you know, no, look. Not, I mean, okay, yeah, a bit of kindness goes a long way. Maybe a bit of kindness to strangers occasionally. like, like helping someone out in a given situation, no problem. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with helping someone out, but you don't let somebody take advantage of you by wanting your help too much. Either wanting your help too much or wanting it so much that it almost, fucking floors you in the sense of energy and just maybe even financially, I don't know, combinations of it. So much that it floors you to that point where you don't have anything to support yourself. You never let yourself get to that level, because that's just stupid. No, you have to have a reasonable, set level of what you'll do before you go. Okay, hold on a second. You have to fend for yourself for now, because I've still got to survive here. Fuck, combinations of that. That's my point. Okay, so. At the end, I mean, I'm doing this YouTube video, so it's kind of, the fucking thing's on. Anyway, it doesn't matter. My point is, I mean, this video pisses me off a little about the copyright rules and shit, but... Turn this shit off. No, but this is my point. This is the relevance that This is... The relative point that I'm trying to make is that you shouldn't send yourself detrimentally out on a limb, and you shouldn't risk too much. Okay, another rule I have, which is never risk more than you can afford to lose in a given situation. Particularly financially, never risk more than you can afford to lose. Otherwise, you're just an idiot in the sense of that. Never risk. Well, it's sort of weird. I would have said a long time ago, don't risk your emotions too much. But I mean, since my girlfriend's come along and since I've connected with her so well, and the things that we do as partner, between the two of us, I've come to trust her very much. I still have a level of distrust towards most people. I mean, even my own fucking family, for that matter. I don't trust people with every single thing in my life. There's some things that I keep from people that I don't necessarily tell, whether it be on YouTube or whether it be in other places on the net, regardless, Facebook or otherwise. I don't reveal every single thing on Facebook about myself. There's a lot of things that I keep in my own mind that, they're better left in my mind, because they're things that, that are me, purely in context, or just a bit me to a certain context, So, there's some things that I'd rather not reveal to people, because, people get judgmental. People get judgmental about every fucking thing. The things that you do know about me is that I'm a person who's... Okay, I'm a good person. Most of the time. I mean, I have my moments where I misbehave and I annoy the fuck out of people, but I like doing that. It's just, maybe I troll a little. I'm not denying that. Maybe I do a little bit of that. But I just do it for a bit of a kick and a laugh. And most of the time I'll end up saying to the person, well, okay, just don't take it seriously. It was just me being mucking around with you. Which, it's a common thing for Aussies to do. We muck around, we insult each other a bit, It's a common thing to do, and it's common, I think it's common around even in the US for that matter. And the thing is, it's something you do, You insult your mates a bit, you play around with them, you tell them to fuck off, you occasionally sort of just, you play around a bit. Simple as that. At the same time, I'm willing to be nice to somebody, I'm willing to play nice, and I'm willing to, show my, my poker face, as it were, if there's somebody that I have an issue with, but at the same time, I don't necessarily want to talk to them, but I'll still talk to them regardless of the situation, just occasionally. I'm not denying that. But at the same time, if the push came to shove, I'd probably put it down to them and just say to them, look, listen, there's just things that I think personally you need to change about yourself, whether it's your attitude or whatever, yeah, so... I mean, I think I'm a fairly mature person most of the time, and, I have a pretty reasonable reaction about most things in my life. I've known to get a little pissed with some things, I mean, whether it be the fact that something specifically from an internet company or something of that nature, like, I don't know. I mean... Yeah, there's some things that can be a lot easier, I mean, I'm relaxed about some things too. I'm easygoing about some things, I'm relaxed. And I'm a typical Aussie guy when it comes to, a percentage of the stuff in my life, whether it be family or, you know, other things in my life. Look, I think at the end of it, all I'm trying to do is be the best possible person I can be. That means that occasionally I'm probably going to be an arse about something, or things that you may not agree with. And everybody's going to have a difference of opinion. I don't fucking care who you are. You're going to have a difference with opinions with somebody at some point in your life. So, you know, it's how you handle that difference of opinion. Down to it, it's how you handle it. It's whether you handle it with hitting somebody with a fist, or whether you are diplomatic about the situation and you talk it out. You know what I mean? Because there are some people who only understand the fist. That's because they're just too dumb or got too much of a fucking primitive mind in the first place to understand the concept of, you know, maybe it's okay to talk things out from time to time. And at the end of that, I don't mind whooping someone's ass. I don't mind kicking someone's ass if I need to. But I will only take it as a last resort. And only if it's needed as an essential thing, you know? At the end of it, I'd rather not fight with the person. I'd rather teach them or try to help them learn what their mistake is, or the thing they've done wrong. I don't know. There's some people. It's like, oh, you know, because you're a nerd, or, you know, because you have a nerdy sense of mentality, or, you know, you're like one of those bookworms. I mean, you know, the bully mentality, really. Like, bullies just, you know, I don't know. At the end of it, I think sometimes people don't absorb too much of that shit. And to be honest, the honest truth of the situation is that, you know, if people take a reasonable mind frame and sit down and discuss things, you know, yeah. At the end of it, you do what is best for yourself in a given situation, and what's best for your family, your significant other, and those are things you worry about. Those are the things you worry about in a bracket. And I'm not denying that people do stupid shit. I'm not denying that there's couples cheat. I'm not denying people don't do dumb shit and cheat or whatever, or, you know, whether it be cheating or whether it be the fact that somebody manipulates or, you know, fucking, not just manipulates, but somebody fucking, you know, tries to get somebody's sympathies, you know. Look, I'm not... People do it. I mean, it's just, you know, it's the level that someone's at, too, you know. Like, I've had a few friends here and there that has gone, well, okay, you know, I can understand you blaming your significant other at some point, but at the same time, it's not... Did you ever stop to think that maybe it's not all your significant other, that it's not actually all their fault? It's not actually all their issue. It may be partly you too. You may have... I mean, look, at the end of it, it takes two to tango, people. I'm just saying. And yes, I know I'm quoting a fucking movie. I can't remember the exact movie, but fuck, I'm quoting a movie. That's beside the point. Okay, I'm quoting a movie, but still, it's the truth of the matter. It takes two to tango. At the same time, it takes two people to start an argument. You know what I mean? It takes two people disagreeing and two people wanting to have that argument. So at the end of it, look, I'm sorry, you got to admit when you have issues as well. I mean, I admit I have issues, and I admit I have probably started some arguments just for the hell of it, and I probably started arguments for no reason. Maybe just because I was bored. I have probably done that in the past. And sometimes I've just started an argument because I was pissed off at the person. Not denying that either. But every fucking time that, I mean, look, yeah, there's some things you say, there's some things you don't say. At the end of it, I'm the type of person, if somebody really pisses me off, I don't hold back on them. I'll let them have everything that I know about them and everything that I've observed about them. Because I will observe everyone's actions for a long period of time, whether it be the fact that I observe how their mannerisms are, how their behaviour is towards other people, their general attitude on life, and their general attitude towards other people, their respect of people around them, their respect of women, whether it be women or men. And I will observe everything that a person does, and I'll analyse it in my own way. By me analysing it, I get a better read on how the person thinks. Now, at the end of it, if I think that person is being unreasonable and they've changed, or they have had a change of mind, in the sense of things that they think about these days, and the way that their thinking has changed from what it used to be, and then I think I'm pretty damn right about it, at the end of it. I mean, I'll be honest, there's about 80% of the time at least that I've been right in a given situation with some of the things I've been doing, and since I've actually been paying more attention to what I'm doing and actually focusing on things more, I'm right about 80% of the time. I mean, look, everybody's wrong. Everybody's wrong at some point, and I'm going to admit I'm wrong. From time to time, I'm wrong, and I'm not denying that. Sometimes I make mistakes. Sometimes I do stupid things. Sometimes I say things I don't necessarily mean. But at the same time, there's moments where I do say things I mean, and at the end of it, if I've said it, it probably had pretty much a grain of truth to it. You know what I mean? Because it's come from a personal observation that I've made of that person. And at the end of it, it's also part of my conditions as well. I got schizophrenia, and I've got schizophrenia and fucking Asperger's, alright? I got ADHD on top of that. Now those combined as conditions, those things combined, they add up to a very jittery, hyperactive, screwy person sometimes. I can be weird, I can be screwy, I can be a bit twisted. I can say that I'm not as twisted as some people in this world. There are some people that I look at and I go, holy shit, I'm twisted, but that fucker's more twisted than I am. And this comes back to my other example of things that I hate. I hate pedophiles. They're dirty, disgusting people who obviously need to be taken out and fucking tramped on, because my mum had nothing but issues growing up with my grandfather. So, yeah. But that's a whole other story, which I'm not going to go into. But my point is, this is my point. This is shit that has personally affected me, and the things that have come across in my life, and my mum was a very wonderful woman. She died of cancer 6 years ago. She was the most wonderful person in the world. She was very kind, compassionate, a little bit paranoid, I guess. I mean, as much as I am sometimes. Actually, no, I'm a little less paranoid than she was. But, my mum was a wonderful light in my life. And at the end of it, I primarily blame pedophiles for taking her away. For killing her, in essence. I blame them because it's the truth of the matter. If she hadn't had the stress that she had, if she hadn't had the stress that she'd had from, all the shit she's done, all the shit that was done to her when she was young, she would not have half the issues she had as she got older. And, most likely, and it's been proven through some scientific studies that stress is a main component, or a big major component, to fucking cancer. At the end of it, I feel that, if she hadn't had that stress, if she hadn't had those things bear down on her, then, she would have been a much better person. Well, she would have been a much better person, she would have had a much better life, and she would have been able to live longer, That's just a feeling that I get. And at the end of it, I blame pedophiles, and I blame them, and I completely want to put an axe through their fucking head personally. That's just, I know that's probably inciting a little bit of pedophile hatred, but I don't give a shit. I think most people are of the same opinion that I have, which is pedophiles are bad for the community, They're a negative aspect. They're a negative thing. They, there's nothing positive in that realm, And the fact that some of them can actually justify their behaviour with, some type of, I don't know whether it be a logical point of view, but the just point of view, is disgusting in itself. It's disgusting, degrading, and it's... no, look, personally, it drives me crazy, and I hate people like that. I can't stand them. I'm sorry. I cannot stand them. Sickening, it's just sickening to me. It's, it's sickening to me that people like this exist. It's sickening to me that, that this stuff does happen in society, but unfortunately it does. And it's just, it's an inevitability, I guess. So, you can't really avoid it. At the same side of the spectrum of it, I also consider the fact that, I mean, this is probably just really a rant on me feeling a bit shitty about some things, but me getting some things off my chest, I guess. Look, holding on to negativity is never a good thing. Look, I may hate pedophiles, but I try not to hold on to that negativity too much, because, I mean, all it really does, I mean, is turn you a little bit bitter, and for a little while sort of turn me a little bit too much, getting into the booze too much, in some cases. I mean, a little bit, not overly. I mean, it was sort of, I could cordon off and actually go off the booze, and that's not a problem. I can actually go off the booze when I need to. I mean, I've taken breaks from booze, but, my entire family, regardless, we're heavy drinkers, and we drink. We just tend to drink. But, I mean, just because we drink doesn't mean that we're... Well, I don't know, that's another placement that I put. I mean, look, I have nothing against smokers, but I've had a couple of smokers come up to me and criticise me for alcohol. Like, I'm like, fuck off, really? Like, you smoke... Look, my girlfriend smokes. That's not an issue. I love it a bit. She's my world. But you know what? There's some friends, and, just friends that I've had, who smoked, and I don't have an issue with anybody smoking. When somebody turns around and criticises criticises alcohol, like just criticising me for drinking alcohol, it's like, what, you're like the fucking kettle calling the pot black, for fuck's sake. I mean, that's just so hypocritical, it's not funny. And I'm sorry, at the end of it, and the truth of the situation is that, I don't place judgment on people most of the time. I'm not the type of guy who goes out and judges everybody automatically. I could, and you know what? I probably have every right to do so, but I don't. Because I'm not a judgmental person like some people are. You know what I mean? And in the end, when somebody's judging me for alcohol, that shows me that they are judgmental in themselves. Yes, sure, you had a negative experience with alcohol. Or maybe maybe a family member has. I don't fucking care. That's beside the point. It doesn't mean you can force your opinion down other people's throat. And, it doesn't mean that you can say that all alcohol is negative just because of one bad experience, alright? And that same goes for, like, or same connotation. I mean, I don't have a problem with people who smoke weed either. Some people have turned around and said to me, they have negative experiences. Look, the research, I've done a bit of research into cannabis, and generally speaking, I don't consider it a bad thing. I don't smoke it personally myself, but I have come into contact with it on and off. But at the same time as coming into contact with it, it never left me with a negative experience when I did. And at the end of it, at the end of the situation, is that it never left me with a negative experience. I never considered it a negative point. And, I think some people are a little bit up in arms because, they assume it's like most people just want to get high, or, I don't know what people's mentality is, because I've seen some people, as I say, I've seen some people who smoke weed, and, they're calm individuals, they're relaxed, Then I have had the other experience where I've seen people get more rageful when they drink alcohol. I'm not denying that, I've seen that too. But it also depends, see, I think alcohol is a bit different. And with alcohol, it depends on the mood you're in, The immediate mood that you're in is what the mood is going to be when you have a drink later. If you're in a fucking negative mood and you're in a fighting mood to start with, well, I'm sorry, you're going to be in a fighting mood after you finish fucking drinking. And look, sometimes it depends on the person, depends on what you drink too. Some people, it affects them differently psychologically. And then some people, look, as I said, some people just read one side of the spectrum too. Look, at the end of it, to me, I think it comes down to mood. With alcohol, it comes down to the mood you're in. If you're in a good mood and you get drunk and you're a happy drunk, or you get happy drunk, for the happy horny drunk or whatever the combination you are. My point is, as long as you're not out there trying to rape women and fucking beat the shit out of guys, have a drink. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a drink, and there's nothing wrong with somebody getting a little stoned. At the same time, I see people who take it for medicinal purposes, which is actually for conditions that they have. MS, for example, is one of those conditions which I've seen people take it for, and this is my point. Those types of things and those other similar things to that nature. Just because somebody takes that, I don't think people should be judgmental just because they may have had a bad experience with whether it be pot or whether it be alcohol. The drugs that I don't like, the drugs that I hate, heroin. I can't stand heroin. I will stay away from anybody who is a heroin addict or otherwise. I do not like heroin. I do not like meth, crystal meth, all that shit. No, I'm sorry. That shit's just fucked up. Alright? I don't like that shit. Personally, that stuff's just no. That's that stuff, chemically speaking, if you do the research on it, it can do a lot of damage to your brain and a lot of damage to your body. Alright? More than weed and more than... Well, okay, alcohol can do some pretty bad damage, but I mean, I don't know. It depends on the person. Some people have a really good tolerance for alcohol. I think it depends vastly on the person. But I will say the truth is that weed probably does less damage than alcohol. But I mean, at the same time, I'm not going to penalise somebody for drinking alcohol. I think alcohol and weed, no. They're a pretty good margin. Alright? Between the two of them. Between the effects and the things that they do to your body and people. Things like that. That's my point. At the other side of the spectrum, speaking of that, I'm having a beer at the moment. At the other side of the spectrum, I don't get people who fucking inject shit into their veins. Truth is, I take antidepressants, so I take pills. I'm against ecstasy and things like that. I think like that MDMA stuff and things like I'm sorry, it doesn't catch me right. Mainly because you don't really know exactly what type of chemicals are going into it. And being an illegal drug, you really don't know what the regulated amount is. I mean, at least with a prescription drug, you know what the actual regulated amount of that drug is. And you know what you're getting. There's nothing hidden behind it. There's no rat fucking poison. Which the truth is, I could actually put rat poison into it. Which I've actually seen a couple of people actually, it's happened in the past where they've actually put rat poison and somebody's ended up dying. That's my point. There's a lot more damage that can be done with, those types of illegal drugs. Now, at the end of it, I'm totally against those types of drugs. Crystal meth, methamphetamines, heroin, things like that. I mean, there can be just as much addiction to, I don't know. I mean, there can be just as much addiction to certain prescription drugs, like, for example, codeine, Oxycontin, things like that, and combination drugs like that. But, I don't know, I mean, catch-22 situation. Some people die. Look, some people die immediately, and some people take a little too... Look, at the end of it, it comes down to the individual. It comes down to people being smart about, how much they take of something, or, I mean, at the end of it, it comes down to the individual, and it's basically being sensible, I mean, being reasonably sensible about what you're drinking or what you're taking. I mean, I don't know. I take a lot of herbal remedies myself. I mostly take herbal remedies. I take antidepressants and antipsychotics. Now, I don't always take the antipsychotics, but, well, I take them, but, I mean, I lower the dose of them because it makes me feel a bit fucked, mentally anyway. What I tend to find most of the time particularly with antidepressants, I mean, they're okay most of the time, but I mean, like, I'm mixing my natural meds, which are like ginkgo biloba, seaweed extract, what do you call other things? Seaweed extract, ginkgo biloba. There's also this other stuff which is Hosma. It's like a Chinese herbal thing. It's brain booster, really good stuff. What else? What else? Oh, pretty much that. I mean, I take fish oil as well. Fish oil is great for you, especially done the right way. Sometimes some ginseng, green tea, herbal teas. I'm always into the herbal teas. Things like that, basically. And it keeps me going. It keeps me pretty healthy most of the time. I mean, I've had a few little health issues here and there, but nothing major. But I mean, look, the point that I'm trying to make is that I'm doing something right. I must be doing something right because, I'm not dead yet. And the point that I'm trying to make is that, or the initial point I'm trying to make is that, to the relevance of it in my own mind, I'm trying, I don't know, it shits me. It shits me at the end that some people can be judgmental, whether it be alcohol. I mean, look, I know alcohol, yes, okay, there's some families it causes a lot of damage. I'm not arguing that. But at the end of it, I mean, not everybody who has a bit of alcohol is going to sit there and abuse the shit out of you, or is going to sit there and, fucking beat the crap out of you. Sometimes it's just down to the person's mental attitude and how they've been treated themselves, and if they've been abused. And sometimes it can be down to that. Sometimes it can just be down to the fact that if somebody's feeling abused, if they felt like they've been abused their entire life, whether it be bullying or otherwise, and maybe inherently that's just, ingrained them into wanting to commit abusive behaviour, possibly. But at the same time, I mean, it's not necessarily an excuse, but, look, some people are just... And then there's the simple fact that some people are just assholes, right? There's a simple fact that there's just some people in this world that no matter how much you try to help them and how much you try to do something for them, they will still find a way to fuck you, or they will still find a way to make you feel bad about it. Something of that nature, basically. They'll find a way to make you feel negative about it, or guilty, or even possibly that combination of. And the thing is, realising who these people are, realising that these people are here to manipulate how you feel about them. They're here to manipulate the fact that you felt guilty or you felt bad, right? You've got to realise that. You've got to be able to say, okay, no, I'm not going to feel guilty because it's fucking bullshit. I shouldn't have to feel guilty. There's no reason I should feel guilty. And at the end of it, it's only because good people, have been taken advantage of at times, that they feel nothing when it comes to these people. That they feel no emotional response towards these people. Because it's because of how much crap they've had to put up with that specific person. So at the end of it, it's the simple truth of the situation is that, the simple and sad truth is that some people cannot be helped. There's just some people that they're always going to be that way and they're never going to change. And you just have to accept that. You just have to accept it and learn that maybe one day karma and life and the universe may teach them a lesson that will ultimately lead them to a good conclusion. Either that or they'll end up dying. But that's my point. So that's my point. I mean, that's my rant, as it were. I mean, my little rant I had to have because I just, I'm driving around in GTA, but fuck, the fucking radio variant. It doesn't really matter if the fucking... No, look, but no, this is my point, right? The point that I'm trying to come across to you guys is that at the end of it, you shouldn't... You should just be yourself, Be who you want to be. Don't try to be someone else. Don't pretend to be someone else. Don't form yourself into someone else, because at the end of it, you be yourself, you're ultimately going to be the person you want to be, And I don't know. And, as I say, some people are just assholes. Simple as that. Nothing can be done. And some women are just complete psychotic bitches. Just saying. And this is not all women. Oh, there's lovely women out there. You'll meet them, trust me. There are actually nice, wonderful women out there. There are great, beautiful, spectacular women that, will love you for you and will connect with you. Then there's the other side of the spectrum, which is the total fucking the total slutty ones that are so self-absorbed in the sense of how they look, they just couldn't care less. I'd say, but it's true. And look, actually, that's a marginal thing. It is not always, just a point I'd like to make, it's not always good-looking women that are slutty, and it's not always good-looking women that are superficial. Alright? This is another point I want to make. It's not always those types of women either. Just because somebody's good-looking does not mean they're superficial. It just means that, you know, they take a little more care with some things, alright? Not denying that. But at the same time, you know, it depends on the person. Like, I don't know, as I said, just because a woman's good looking doesn't mean that she's pretentious and she's a prude and she's stuck up her own ass. It can mean that she's quite relaxed, you know? I mean, vastly depends on the person. It comes down to the individual. And everybody has their own individual personality, and, you know, at the end of it... But there is also a broad spectrum of personalities as well. There's a broad spectrum of personalities that you would consider that you're going to actually come across in life. There's unique individuals, and then there's just the stereotypical lot that you'll get. I'm gonna fuck that car up, didn't I? There's just the stereotypical image you'll get of a person or a woman or otherwise. Like, you know, as I said, that's the thing. Everybody has their own unique individual to some extent, but there are just some people that are so close to the stereotype and just so... wow. Some people who are so special, you just go, wow, really? In the sense of intelligence level, yes, just amazingly special. And that's not... And it's not special in a good way. It's just, wow, yeah. Typically these people. You know, there are some people that I've met that, you know, have been the kindest people, in the sense of, like, you know, somebody with a mental disability or something like that. They've been the kindest and the nicest people in the world, you know, compared to somebody who's actually fucking normal. Or supposedly normal. I don't know, there's always a definition. Is this normal? Is that normal? Fuck. I don't know what the fuck is normal, but who the fuck knows what the hell is normal these days? I mean, normal just, you know, normal is just a... Normal's a definition. Normal's a definition, and normal's something that... I don't know. Normal is a definition by our current society, which our society doesn't have a classification for every person, especially, particularly unique individuals. So it puts everybody into a category of either stereotypical or non-stereotypical. So you got the stereotypical and the non-stereotypical, because it's easier to simplify it by having two different categories, if you think about it, logically. So yeah, it just makes sense to me. Well, it makes sense to me, to be truthful, because, I mean, you know, it makes sense in some things, but I mean, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with unique individuals anyway. I love unique individuals. Most of my friends are unique individuals. Just as crazy as I am, and sometimes crazier, depending on the situation. On and off. But no, that's my point, alright? Yeah, anyway. I'm going to leave it there for now, because I'm probably just ranting on like a lunatic. Which I pretty much am, but that's aside from the point anyway. So, I'm a lunatic, and this has been my podcast. No. Yes, I am a slight lunatic, but I promise I'm a good lunatic. There is such a thing as a good lunatic, really. So anyway. So, sorry, my beer spilled a bit. Okay. So, down to it. What can I say in a closing? At the end, just be yourself, and I think everybody will love you for yourself. I don't know, saying that, I've been trying to stick to the technical aspects of my channel lately, but at the same time, I've been spending a lot of time with my girlfriend, so, you know, she is the light of my life at the moment, so... Well, no, she will be the light of my life for the rest of my life, that's my point. And, you know, as I said, we're planning on a future together, that's definitely on the cards, but it's gonna be a while before it happens, but, you know, you can't rush these things. Love was never rushed. Love is, yes, love was never rushed, and I'm right. At the end, it's something that you take your time with. So, alright, I'm going to leave it there. Anyway, thank you very much, YouTube. If you'd like to like and subscribe, this is my little GTA 5 rant in combo. I hope you enjoyed it, or it had some relevance to your life, I guess, and maybe added something to it, maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't like it. Well, that's fine. Go ahead, dislike it. That's your fucking choice. I can't stop you from disliking it, but I can say that I admire you for disliking the fact that you didn't like some of the things I said. I admire you for that, because at least you're sticking up for something. At least you're sticking up for some sort of context of what you believe in, and I guess if you don't really believe what I believe in, then you know, at the end, that's your choice, ultimately. Your choice and your decision. At the end, I'm still going to be me, and I'm still going to be where I am, and I'm still going to keep plodding along. Doing what I do best. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Anyway, thank you very much, and catch you YouTube. Like and subscribe. I got more techie stuff coming up at some point, I think. I don't know. Well, this is just my techie stuff here, but this is my fucking, what is this? Yeah, this is like my rant. GTA 5 commentary rant. Yeah, we'll just go GTA 5 commentary rant. Yeah, that'll work perfectly. Okay, we'll go with that. That'll work. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, YouTube, and stay tuned. Please stay tuned, because I'll tell you, there's going to be a shitload of stuff. I'm having some stuff. I looked at Wolfenstein New Order. I have done a recording for it, but I'm deciding whether I'll use it or not, because it was it needs to be a little more. I think it needs to be a little more refined before I do it. I'm being a little bit of a more perfectionist when I'm recording. Not perfectionist, but just I'm being a little more picky about what I do with my recordings. You know, just making sure that I've got the right tone to it. So, yeah, that sort of thing. Combination of. Alright, thank you very much, YouTube, and catch you. Bye. Shit. Fuck's. Ah.